to the stage of history. I am your illustrious host, Kevin Uncanny Anytime. Back again, y'all. This time, as usual, I got a good one for you today. Something to pick your brain. I love deep thought topics, as you can tell. So what I wanted to do is help you to think about this concept. Pain is in the mind. Now, as I have been recently, I'm going to have to watch it again because I've been recently talking about Inception on the last maybe couple videos and lives and stuff like that. And it was interesting because here's the situation. If you didn't understand or you don't know what the movie is about, they're able to go and share dreams with each other, which is what they said is based off of a military program. So it's probably a real thing. But anyway, they get to share dreams with each other. And in that process, there's a few ways that you can get out. If on the outside of your dream, you as a person, if you fall or tip over, that jumping feeling that you sometimes have, even if you're daydreaming or if you're asleep, you'll kick yourself out of the dream, right? But in the dream, if you're shot or killed, that also jumps you out the dream. But here's what's really, really interesting because it applies to real life. That's why I love movies, because they always have this underlying real life application for those of us that are willing to catch it, right? And so the antagonist in the movie is like trying to prevent the protagonists from doing their job well and doing what they have to do. And what happens is she doesn't want the character to leave out of the dream. And she's like, oh, you know what? No, I'm not gonna allow him to escape out. I'm going to just shoot him somewhere where it's painful, because pain is in the mind. And so she shoots dude in the leg. He doesn't get kicked out. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, oh no, okay, wait a minute. She said, yeah, he's not gonna wake up from the dream because pain is in the mind. Now let's dive into that, because how much does that apply to life, right? Now, we can look at certain situations like maybe working out, you're getting in those extra reps. Now, for me personally, I've noticed that I'm able to go way more extra when I have my headphones on and I'm listening to a song I like. This is something that allows me to forget what I'm doing for a moment, and I'm able to just continue to go. And what that does is it tricks my mind into just thinking that it's just going. It's just a mechanism. It's just a process that we're going through. There isn't climaxes. There isn't progression or anything. It's literally simply just an equilibrium of things. It's just an even playing field of your body and your mind, right? It's like an empty space that you jump into. And so what's so interesting about this pain is in the mind is that when she said that, I was like, wow, that's so true because of what I've just explained to you. And what we can grab from that, y'all, what we can really grab from that is that your mind is so ridiculously powerful. First of all, the only reason you feel pain is because your brain shoots a signal, and that's what allows you to feel it. Now, pain can be measured in different ways. It can be physical or it can be emotional, right? And so when we think about the emotional side of things as well, can the same concept be applied as far as doing something or ignoring or covering over the feeling or that emotional pain? Is there a way to not pay attention to that, to get past it? Right? And so some of us, listening, have been through some traumatic situations. I've actually been through a couple as a kid, but I like to say that it wasn't as bad as some of the stories I've heard. But things like my father being absent for a particular period of time in my life, for like a decade or so, like that. That was for me personally, like nothing against anything or anybody, but that for me was traumatic, right? And so there was a lot of pain that I experienced emotionally through that because there was non-clarity. There was no understanding. I didn't really know what was going on or why it happened. So your brain comes up with all of these different things. So at a certain point, though, I was able to get past that pain in my mind by choosing to get past it, right? By choosing to get past it. Now, there were still instances where those feelings would resurface or it would come up and I would think about it for a moment, but the consistent practice of choosing not to identify with the pain of that emotional traumatic experience was something that allowed me to continue to move forward. Because anything, guys, there's anything we can choose that can allow us to, or that can quote unquote make us stop our purpose, to make us stop reaching our goals, right? You can really choose any little thing you want to. It doesn't matter what it is. With that being said, it's for us to understand, like, okay, so pain is in the mind. So even when working out, it's like if you could somehow not direct your attention to the progression and the tension of what you're doing, you won't feel it. What is that about? What type of power do you really possess? Do you understand that is a practice? If you practice it, that is a superpower. That can be a practiced superpower for you. So they have this thing, right, that I used to watch, these, like, I forgot what it was called. It's like Finding Superhumans or something like that with Stan Lee. He was finding real people that was doing like some really crazy stuff. And it's because they were pushing their minds to a different level, right? And so there's one guy that comes to mind. This one dude who was able to withstand heats of ridiculous temperatures. So he's like the opposite of the Iceman Windhoff, right? He's able to sit in, they're turning up the sauna up to super high temperatures. They're looking at him on a thermal scan, and his temperature of his body is barely raising. Now, obviously, see, when I see that, y'all, when I see that, I go into a realm of, oh my goodness, that's possible for me. That's the way I think about these things. I automatically grab onto that, and I encourage you to do that. I really encourage you to do that because it'll make you feel different. It'll make you start to look at the world different. That's how I look at it. It's in a very possibility standpoint. It's from a possible standpoint of what are the possibilities, of what are the capabilities that I possess that I don't know of yet. But what's interesting about that is you automatically have a choice in your mind right then and there, hearing that story, to either say, I couldn't do that, or, wow, that's possible for me because this person is a human being the same as I am. Interesting. Very interesting perspective to take. And that's what I do a lot of things. I mean, even Jesus, man, with a lot of the miraculous things. Because what's interesting about his story is that he didn't do anything truly besides the very end of things out of the ordinary. He literally explained to the apostles, like, look, y'all can do this too. And yes, it says that there were apostles that were expelling demons, raising the dead, healing people. So if that's written down and you decide to believe that this historical canon is truth, then what does that mean for you? That's the realm I go into, because I get excited. Why? Because I told y'all, like, superheroes. That's like one of my main missions in life, is to see how far I can push myself and see how far I can go mentally and physically, and see how much I can keep this form together and ensure that I'm not aging, right? That's part of what I'm here to do, right? Not saying anybody else has to go into that realm of thinking, but I have accepted that mission. It's very difficult, and I love very difficult things at particular times. I love to be challenged like that. So, not to get off subject, but let's think about these things, y'all. Pain. What pain are you experiencing? What pain are you experiencing right now? Really, really think about that and consider it. Is it emotional or is it physical? If it's physical, is it a way for you to take your mind and your attention off of it? Allow your miraculous subconscious, your body, to heal itself, and then all of a sudden you become healed. What is that? What is that when you can look up studies and they have the placebos, they have these sugar pills, they're telling people that they're taking something, they're taking hold of it, they're believing it, and then they end up being repaired. I'm talking about surgeries, knee surgeries, all type of stuff. You can look this up, and then again, you have a choice. Is it real? Is it possible? I am ridiculously fascinated with that, because I believe that we always pull from something real. So I don't think that superheroes just came out of somebody's mind as an idea. I think one day somebody saw something of that nature, and that's when they decided to create it. Because we're always replicating and trying to improve upon a particular process, or pulling from nature and using it in our machine work, like the bird and the plane. There's numerous examples that you can look up, what animals correlate to certain mechanics and machinery that we use now. That's literally sometimes what scientists have used. They have used the nature of things, nature, to be able to create something. And I mean, that alone should tell you what's really going on here, if you really want to get it. But it's really important to dive into this thought yourself. I'm just drawing attention to it because these are the things that I think about, and it fascinates me. But I encourage you to meditate on it. The pain, physical and mental. What is it? How can I understand it? In what ways can I use it to my advantage, or not allow it to stifle me? Right? That's all the things that we have the opportunity to think about and do, which is why I'm so incredibly gung-ho about mindset, man, because I just don't think that we've dove deep enough into it to really, really know what's possible for the human being. And I always position it that way because it doesn't matter if you're a girl or a guy. We all have some form of power, some gift, some exclusive to you too. There's some exclusivity in that as well. When you really begin to master yourself, you find that little inkling about you, the little meticulous thing about you that makes you different, that attracts your tribe, right? Yeah, that's a fascinating thing. And you think about when you sit out and some of us people watch and we're out there looking at the different people, start looking at them and being like, I wonder what their gift is. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that tripped out? There could be a person you walk right past in the mall that is going to create the next technology of some sort, the invisible touchscreen phone, like the transparent phone or something like that, right? Or the water engine. A lot of conspiracy behind that, but they, whoever they is, they can't stop it. The goodness, the progression, the betterment is going to win. There's no stopping it. That's just in our nature. Innately, we want to become better. Innately, we want to grow. We want to get further, with this space exploration and all of this extra stuff. That's what we want to do. It's just simply what we're looking for. And I just believe that we haven't dove deep enough into ourselves, though, and in this planet's capabilities as well, before we decided to venture off. Especially if there's things that we see and hear about, like Nikola Tesla and the wireless energy, and what the pyramids may have been actually power plants and that type of I don't know, man. It's just, I know it's really just for us to meditate on and to really try and figure out, what's real and what's not. And I think it's up to the trailblazers, the pioneers, the champions to be like, you know what? I'm going to figure that out. And it's always that one. It's always the person that is like, no, I want to see what this is about. I want to go deep into this topic. Steve Jobs, even Bill Gates, man, with the Microsoft and the internet and the technologies, the video games, Nintendo, the beginners of that, all of these things, the electronics, to the weights, to working out, that's relatively new, y'all. Which is really funny, man. Working out is relatively a new thing, like actually coming out with workout programs. So that's what's even more incredibly interesting. So really, really, really contemplate these things, y'all. I really feel I feel like it's a part of what we're supposed to do. If you think about in days past, very far into the past, where they didn't have a lot of the distractions, all you had was your mind. All you had to do was think about things, try stuff out, science it. That's all there was. And so if that's all there was, then maybe we need to get a little bit back to that and start really meditating on information and really dissecting things and really trying to figure them out and seeing how they tick and all of that. Because really, it's all about how can we make this place better. That's really what it's all about. That's my personal opinion, is how can we make this place better. And I believe it starts in the mind. I believe it starts in the mind, y'all. Pain is in the mind. Man, that is a tripped out concept, right? Super, super tripped out when you really think about it, and you start to believe the idea of I can ignore pain. I can not feel pain if I choose not to, if I decide not to, if I learn how to change my brain functioning to not register that, dive into your programming of your own mind? Is it just running on its own, or can you actually start putting different programs in place? Can you take the motherboard out and unsolder and solder new pieces on and upgrade the motherboard? I don't know. And that I really actually don't know. I just thought of that, and it's like, maybe you could though. How do computers upgrade? What do they do? What's that process? It's little meticulous programs, which are really habits. Even if they are in a computer, it's a series of habit functions that happen that allow it to execute. And man, I'm just this is why this has to be. This is why mindset matters more than anything else. Just because it does. It's the truth. There's no hidden agenda behind it. It's the truth. It's literally the truth, man. Because everything is mindset. Money, the idea of it is a mindset. It's a simple concept that everybody collectively believes, again. And if you can jump out of that idea and recognize that it is the people that hold the power because of the collective idea of stopping at a red light and being like, yeah, it's red, so I'm gonna stop because that's what we're supposed to do, and everybody collectively agrees on it. Working out's a thing because everybody collectively agrees on it. Maybe there's a different way. Maybe there's a better way. We don't know until that one person decides, you know what? I'm going to find that out. And that could be you. That could be you listening to this. Really, really contemplating the things of your existence and life and what's happening out here. It's really, really incredible, y'all. So I encourage you to do that often. It for me, it really excites me. It fascinates me. It makes me feel more alive. It really does. But that just could be part of my hero structure, my superstructure. That's just part of what I like doing. You dive more into yourself and you start figuring out different things. But because we all have different abilities, and that's a great thing, because if we all had the same abilities, then we might not progress as much, right? It's good to collectively share ideas and get different opinions and viewpoints. So what is your idea of pain is in the mind? What is your concept or your question or comment about pain just being in the mind? How do you treat it? Does it control you? Or do you control it? Interesting things to think about. So yeah, making a lot of strides towards getting the Mindset Matters program up for you guys. And that, again, will be up when it is ready. And just wanted to let you guys know that I love you guys very, very much. Remember, mindset matters more than anything else. All right? Focus on the good. And we will see you next time. Anytime, out.